We'll see what happens, just for a little bit.
Let me know. All right. clonex forging. Kate, I'm so excited for this.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to take you through the experience of what happens. So you go in and you connect your wallet. It sees that I have a clonex. So these are the items that I'm eligible for. So first of all, there was a free t-shirt. Very important to remember everything except for the socks and the cap. Everything else, the t-shirts, the hoodies, the shoes, have all got the chip in it that's going to be activated. Once you get your physical garment, you're going to activate that chip that's inside the garment with the token that you get once you burn it. So I've already minted my free t-shirt. That's why it's not showing here.
Hey.
And now I can purchase items should I want. This window is open for another 4 days. It was a total of a week, and it opened 3 days ago. So for me, I'm watching the floor, and we're going to go look at the floor to see whether it's better maybe to get stuff off the secondary or to get it here. But so far, it's been quite close to mint price, every item, either slightly above mint price or a lot above for the rarer traits. So I've got a clonex that's robot. So in the beginning, everyone can claim the socks. Remember, the socks don't have a chip in it, and that's 0.03 Ethereum. Then I can claim the shoes, and these are the base shoes. I love this design, and I'm really, really keen on getting either from here or the secondary, depending on what the price goes to. But if you can imagine, only clonex holders can claim this. So it's going to be a very limited edition shoe. And I think that alone is going to have value, let alone the fact that that it's going to be the first shoe that you get, physical shoe with this move to earn mechanic. So and I really like this design. And we're going to look at all the designs. Then you can do the cap. Remember, the cap does not have the token inside of it. And you see here that every time you claim, it says this token will be swapped with a different token once it's forged. And that's the same with all of them. Then you've got the basic clonex hoodie at 0.19. And then because my clonex is a robot DNA, which is your least rare is a human DNA. The next least rare is a robot, so it's not rare. But because mine is a robot, I get robot items that I can also purchase. Now, if it was a Murakami drip one, then those are the ones that are going well above floor, even though the price here doesn't change. So that's how they sort of rewarding holders that have rarer clonexes, because even though it will still cost you 0.03 for the Murakami socks, those sell a lot more on the secondary market. So here you can see you can do the robot socks, you can do the robot shoes. Now remember, obviously there's going to be less robot shoes than the first shoes, still not very, very rare like the Murakami or the Demon gets more rare and so on, but rarer than the ones we saw above, which every holder can claim. Then you got the pants. I don't like buying pants in general, just because I like to try them on. I don't really like to buy them like this. A robot t-shirt, robot long sleeve shirt, and you can buy up to 2 if you want. Up to 2 is the maximum per. So you guaranteed that the max supply of this hoodie, for example, is going to be 2 times the amount of robot NFTs there are out there, the amount of clonexes with the robot trait, right? Then they've got this sort of like utility jackets, which I think is a bit weird. They've got the cap. Again, remember the cap doesn't have the chip in it, and that's pretty much it. So what I'm personally wanting is definitely the first pair of shoes, because I like the look of them more, and maybe this pair of shoes as well. Not sure yet, but maybe. I'll show you how cool it is. Actually shows better on OpenSea.
Okay.
So let's just sum this up over here. Remember, we said the shoes are not going to be forgeable in 5 days' time together with everything else, but they will be forgeable at a later date. That makes me think that people might get sick of waiting, and the floor might drop a little bit on the secondary, but I'm not sure. And here you can see the full range of shoes. And here it shows you that, as a clonex, depending on your traits, this is the sort of things that it opens up to 30 different items, depending on how many traits your clonex has. So we saw with mine, you get the base line, which is this line over here. I can make that a bit bigger. Okay, so you get the baseline over here, which is what we saw that all holders can claim. And here you see it says all forgeable with the exception of socks and caps. And then everything's attached with an NFC tags. So I think what they're basically saying is socks and caps are not equipped with the tags like we were saying that can link to your NFT, but all the items are forgeable there. And then here you can see this one's a human, so they got access to all the human stuff. Mine's a robot, so my line here was robot. And then this one also has the Murakami trait. So that particular NFT would also get access to the Murakami stuff, which is the most sought after because it's the most rare, right?
Yep.
I mean, look how cool. I think these are like a bit girly, to be really, really honest. But I mean, as a collector item, they're super, super cool.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I could wear those, but yeah, as far as a collector's item, that's where those kick in for sure.
Yeah, kick in, excuse the pun. Yeah, I mean, here you can see some of the different items. We'll go look on OpenSea. And there's also another Murakami one there. That's the robot one. It's nice, hey? Yeah, I also like that. And this is the demon one.
I like that one better.
You got to have the demon DNA, or you can buy it on secondary. This 100%. Is the angel one, which I think is a bit girly.
Yeah, agree.
This is the reptile one, which I just don't like the color combination, but it's cool. I don't know which one this is. I think that's
really
alien.
Like that green. Yeah, the green I don't really fuck with that much.
And then this is the base one, which I really like the shoe.
As a base, yeah, I agree. That looks really good. I like that one. That
feels like
yeah. I was gonna say that reminds me of, like, you know how the Lazy Lions, their like mascot is the basic one without any traits on it. It's just a lion,
just clean.
And with like a Doge pound, same thing. Like that's kind of how I look at that one. I like that one, yeah, for sure.
For shizzle. And here's the chip on them. This thing here, the silver thing that you see on all of them, that's going to be the tracking chip. And you can see they've all got sort of special icons here. So look, just as far as collecting shoes, I mean, I really do believe that these are going to have enormous value. And here you can see the full range. So I'm eligible for the robot and the base clonex one over there. Those are the two that I'm eligible for. And then if we jump on the secondary and we just have a look. So first of all, they've done an enormous volume in 2 days, 2.5 days, 1,200 ETH. They were number 1 on OpenSea yesterday. They're number 2 on OpenSea today. And here, this is the free shirt that everyone got. Now, I've got no intent. If this was like 0.1, 0.2, maybe I'd flip it. But forging is in a few days' time. I don't imagine it's going to jump a huge amount. I'm going to forge it. I'd rather, for 0.027 ETH, which is like $40 or whatever, I would rather have the T-shirt. It's not just a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt with that tracking technology that they're busy putting out. So that one I'm holding. Quite interesting. You've got, obviously, your human socks are the least rare. The Genesis is actually the least rare. Then the human, then the robot. You can see the human cap over there, demon socks. And remember, mint on the socks was 0.03 regardless of what traits you had. So you can see it makes sense to flip a few of them if you start to have like rarer traits, because you'll pay 0.03 and you'll get 0.07. But doesn't really make sense on the base layer traits. And the same thing with all the items of clothing. I'm just using socks as an example. But you see the caps, as they get rarer, they become a lot more than mint price. But as they are the basic ones, I mean, this clonex one, for example, 0.051. And if we jump back onto RTKFT, how much is that cap? 0.04. So it doesn't really make sense to do it for the base traits yet. Maybe in a few days it will. But again, if you have, a Murakami one, then it's a 0.06. if you have, I mean, the undead cap is sitting at 0.1. People must just like the look of it, which is quite incredible. I want to show you the shoes as well.
That's crazy that this kind of like came out. Like, it just kind of like, I don't know. This is like news to me, like seeing all this shit. I'm like, damn, where'd this come from?
So they said they had this cool AMA, and they said they had this whole thing with Farouk, and they said that they have been working on this for 8 years. Is what
that
they
is
said.
wild.
8
You know what's interesting?
years.
That reminds me of Facebook Meta. How they're like, we've been working on the metaverse actually for years. I think we just like haven't really talked about it like that. And I was like, interesting, because it's probably true, you know. Some version of it. I mean, they probably didn't know when they were making like, this will be the NFT thing that we sell on clonex. Like, they didn't know that, but they were just building for it.
Yeah. So these are the robot shoes that I'm eligible for, but I also like how they've shown it. I think this is really slick, really, really cool. I don't particularly like the backgrounds of the clothing, the way they've done it. It looks washed out. Just personally, I don't really like the background, but I love the way they've done the shoes. Don't really love the way they're showing the hoodies. I would have preferred it on a clean background like you saw with the shoes.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, each their own.
That shit is hard though. Like, did you see, by the way, did you see Fuzzy Felons release their first episode of their show?
No, I didn't.
You remember that NFT project that I was like super excited about before they got rugged?
Them. Yeah.
Dude, they dropped their first episode and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not easy
like
to do.
It was so bad. They switched up the artwork. They made it way more realistic, but it wasn't good realistic. It just looked cheap. And then there was no story. And I just remember watching and I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, I think they're pretty much done because they had to like switch all this stuff, but it was really sad.
So check here, the alien shoes.
Whoa.
Are selling for 6.6 Ethereum, and you would still pay 0.38 if you had a alien trait. I mean, it's almost worth buying a fucking alien clonex, bro.
Fuck. Why? Why would you want that shoe so bad? God, are people selling? Are they selling?
Well, I mean, there's offers for 4.54 and 3.7. Yeah, dude. People are selling 5.5, 5.75. So there's definitely plays here. I mean, if we and if you look here, this is the Murakami DNA one. These are the 6.8 Ethereum. And also, you know, offers 4.9, 4.9, sale at 5.4 here, another sale at 5.1. So I just want to see one thing here. If we look, this could be like huge alpha. If we look at clonex and see what an alien trait clonex, floor clonex, you could probably get a free clonex. Like, because look at the floor here is 6.6.
Wow.
So if we go here and say DNA and then say alien, okay, alien is very rare. Hey, alien is more rare than Murakami, so they're not going to be floors. Definitely not. I didn't realize. Okay, wow, 99 Ethereum. Okay, you're not gonna get a free. I didn't realize that alien was rarer than Murakami. Until right this second. But what's really interesting to me is that everything has been consistent with these different DNAs. So even when they drop their opening of their box, their MNLTH box, those little capsules that you got were these same traits. So if we look at undead, for example, wow, 32 Ethereum. That's absolutely reptile. Just give it a second. It always takes an extra second. 19 ETH. And how much can I sell the reptile shoes? So this is alien. Don't get confused. Reptile 1.7. Okay, so we can't get a free clonex, unfortunately. Then I want to just show you some ups here. So this was a really good thread. So the first thing is this move to earn mechanic. Something crazy is being cooked up. The techs have been evolving this for 8 years, coming quite soon, they said. Strong assumption that this will be for crypto kicks, which is the virtual shoe. And remember, this claim's got nothing to do with those virtual shoes or the capsules or the MNLF. This is for clonex holders at this point of time. Gotcha. They did hint at collabs. They said that crazy collabs will be announced, but with the coolest and best brands in the world, were their exact words. About the MNLTH2, that box, The second one, so the bronze colored, gold colored box, the one that you got when you opened your silver box, they said that the quest is starting very soon. It's very special, and mechanics include something much bigger, and it's going to be bigger, shorter, and better than the MNLTH1 quest, because that went on forever. And we've seen the floor of these MNLTHs go up from 1.1 Ethereum in the last 2 or 3 days to 1.5 Ethereum. So this was really bullish for them to say, look, you're not going to have to wait as long, and this is the biggest thing that we've done yet. So that's really exciting. They
also
said,
Philip, you know our cameras aren't on, right?
Oh,
I just noticed that.
There we go.
We got two beautiful faces, not to show it.
Thanks, Cade. One beautiful face. I was talking about you, right? Then when asked about Nike athletes, they said, please just wait a couple of weeks and everything will come to surface, which is really, really cool. They said there'll be upcoming in real life events as well, which we know they've already had some. They're also interested in making a game. So they said we love and are interested in things reference, gaming, physical, digital, and we will always work on things we love and are interested in. So the fact that they said they love gaming and physical, digital, and we will always want to work on things we are interested in. And then when asked directly about the game, he said, yes, but it takes 3 to 4 years to build a good game. But the nice thing about, this project is that they've got so much going on before the game. No one even thinks of the game. Like all the stuff that's happening, guys will be happy to wait. Miscellaneous, they said the RTKFT team, that for them, Kanye West is a dream collab. But it doesn't mean that there is a collab with him. They just would like there to be. Working on the website with a couple of free-to-use clone files like we saw before. They said that they've got 35 full-term people working at RTKFT at the moment, 35 full-time. Miscellaneous, they said that they're going to be developing a much better story or lure in the next coming months.
Let's go.
There we go. They're working on 5 other projects outside of forging. So outside of the physical digital that we're seeing, they are currently working on 5 other projects simultaneously. We know one of those is the MNLTH2s that they've said about, but they're also working on other stuff. They really focused on scarcity. They said that we're not bound by Nike. We are RTKFT, and multiple hints of future physical market. And that's pretty much a whole breakdown on everything on the clonex forging. What do you think, Cade?
Well, they're definitely doing more shit than pretty much anybody else. So I gotta hand it to them. I can't knock them for doing some innovative shit. And who knows? Some people are gonna talk shit about it, saying you're just trying to make more money. But at the end of the day, man, this is what's called brand building. This is called IP building and just building a name. This is how you do it. So props to them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I do think if any brand in the space, any NFT project, forget brand, wants to be sustainable, there has to be ways that they can earn. Obviously, Nike, they've said they're separate to Nike, so they're not relying on Nike's money here, and they need to do it. But when it comes to collectors, like for me, for example, I think a rare shoe like this, even on the secondary market, once it's a physical shoe, will go for much more than you end up paying it, because especially like the rarer traits, as you go up the trait line, it's just there's only going to be a certain amount of them. I mean, like, how many of these shoes are there at the moment? Let's just have a look here. So I don't want to go to a very expensive one, but let's just say here, what is this one? Is this the Demon?
600.
No, that's the Genesis. That's the Genesis. That one's going to have the most, but I actually like the look of that the most. You like this one. So it's only 0.45 at the moment. Would have cost someone 0.38 to forge, so very close to. But currently there's only 297 minted so far. Now, maybe people are doing what I'm doing and holding back to see whether they should mint it on the second, on the primary and actually mint it, or buy it on the secondary. But I mean, even if this gets to like 2,000, in the end of the day, to have a Nike shoe where there's only 2,000 in existence, that's the first to have a move to earn something. mechanic is going to be worth money to a shoe collector, even outside of the space.
Yeah, it says current price for 2 of them is 0.45 too. So it
No,
looks like
no, there's
right?
2. No, there's
Oh,
2 for sale
nice.
at
Wait.
0.45 each.
Okay.
No, definitely. For sure. I do know that. When you buy it, it will ask you how many you want to buy.
Okay.
Definitely. But what I do want to just show you here is if we take this as an example, because it's not much above mint price of 0.38, if we look up the demon trait, and just to see how many there could potentially be, there's 1,600, we'll call it 1,700 demons, and everyone could mint 2 as a maximum. So the most that will ever be in existence of this shoe ever is 3,400 in the entire world.
So, and with this thing, right? So this echoes because, sorry, this resonates with me because of a story that from like 2 years ago, this kid named Jordan, he called me. He was living in his car at the time. I was also living in my car. Mine was by choice. His was due to life situations. And he was like, look, I want to be a fitness influencer. I want to start clothes. I want to start a brand. And I was like, okay. But he didn't really put in the work as far as like content and building a brand. He just wanted to sell clothes. And he's like, well, I have worked with this guy and we have this really cool shirt. I was like, Jordan, nobody cares. I love you, but nobody cares. Nobody cares how hard you worked on this shirt. No one wants the shirt unless you do something that people would want the shirt for. Like, you got to have done something in your brand that people say, I fuck with that heavy, and he's selling a shirt, I want that. So with Nike, they're putting in work, clonex putting in work. That gives these shoes the right to be able to sell for this much money. And the same with the Joyous Kingdom. My Joyous clothes, my Joyous NFTs have no value unless people see and perceive that my brand has value. And the only way to do that is for me to grind and to put in work and stuff. So it's just like a lesson for a lot of NFT projects. Just because you have an NFT project and you sell clothes does not mean anyone wants the clothes. You have to have done something
For
cool,
sure.
you know?
Kate, don't you like the look of this one?
Yes.
A lot more than the look of the demon.
Okay, so I like the first one for looks, and I would rather display the first one. This one I'd rather wear outside, I think.
But this one is going to be much scarcer.
Well, I don't care. You saw my Gucci slippers. I don't give a fuck.
You see, because this on a rarity for the price is a really good price.
God, dude, $700 for $700 for a collectible shoe, I guess, isn't bad at all. But
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it's a lot of money, but there can only ever be 3,400 in the ever made.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just depends. If you think this brand, specifically Artifact, will hold value, then this is pretty sick. I mean, I like it.
It's not just Artifact; it's Nike. I mean, it says Nike on them as well. It's got clonex on the back. And it's got Nike on the front. It's an official.
I like that
Nike.
one a lot, dude. That's a really cool shoe.
Also
I fuck with that.
But I don't know if I'd wear them. I don't think I'd wear them. I'm thinking purely from a collectible side.
Yep, agreed.
All right. Well, when we off stream, I'm going to look a bit more because to me, to get a shoe where there's a maximum amount of 3,400 ever in existence, a Nike shoe at this price with the first wear to earn. I think that's a good investment. I mean, I could sell it on eBay for 5 times the amount in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean that's the bet.
It's to shoe collectors as well. It's not just.
Yep. I mean, it'll depend who's the king. Like who's the king NFT project who has also the best shoes in 5 years, and like that's the bet you're making. Is like you think it'll be clonex. I have no idea. I think there's a good chance it could be. Like I like clonex as long as I like clonex and I like Nike. If they continue to do their shit and continue to keep innovating and roll with the punches and continue to participate in Web3 culture, I think they have no reason not to be one of the best in the space. I just hope to see a little bit more lore on their or I have to see a little bit more lore, which they said they were going to do. So I'm really excited about that.
100%. The other thing, a bit of alpha, is Puma has hinted. So they've got their token now, has been minted, and they've said that there's going to be a physical claim for it, shoes, as well as a free shoe claim for it coming soon. And they just launched a couple of weeks ago, their NFT, like 2 weeks ago. So I'm quite bullish on those. I actually picked up another one. So I've got 2 Pumas now.
How much are
NFTs? 0.25. I think they've gone to 0.3 now.
Oh, whoa.
But I do think even Adidas, once they get their arse into gear, I really do think that that these clothing brands are gonna they're perfect for the space. They're perfect for Web3.
Yeah.
And they already have the budget and the funding to make it work. And they've got proof of concept because Nike has earned close to $200 million now after this forging in the space in the last 12 months.
Mhm.
So any other brand that was thinking, is this for us? Is this not? Who's seen that how much money's at stake just in a year in the infancy of Web3 is now going to